I'm going to simplify these terms and write the answer using only positive exponents. Okay, so I'm going to take my, just a second, let me move it so I have room. I'm going to take my negative exponent on the outside and I'm going to circle it so that I don't forget about it. And I'll explain why in a moment, what I mean by that. Okay, so on the inside, you need to rewrite it so that it doesn't have any negative exponents. So anything that's negative goes on the bottom. Oh, well, it changes sign. So since the numerator is m to the negative 2, I'm going to move it to the denominator and call it m squared. This 3 doesn't have an exponent, so it stays exactly where it's at. The only time you move them is if they have a negative exponent. The m to the negative 7, that's negative, so since it's on the bottom, I'm going to move it to the top. When you move it, you take the negative sign away. Now we're still dealing in the parentheses. We haven't dealt with the negative 3 on the outside yet. We're going to save that. Okay, so now what we want to do is make a fraction. The 3 is going to stay on the bottom because it doesn't have an exponent. Now for your m's, you've got to ask yourself, where's the largest exponent? On the top or the bottom? When we have a 7 and a 2, the 7 is larger, it's on the top. That means in your answer, the m is going to be on the top. Well, not in the answer, but in the next step. Now you subtract the exponents. So 7 take away 2 is 5. Okay, so that entire parentheses there is now simplified. Now we have it to the negative third power. I'm going to ignore the negative for now and just distribute the 3. And when you distribute, you multiply. So 5 times 3 is 15. And this is a 1 here, so you've got to distribute the 3 to the denominator as well. You've got a base of 3, and 1 times 3 is 3. So I've got m to the 15 over 3 cubed is 3 times 3 times 3, which is 27. Okay, now we're going to talk about the negative exponent. The negative exponent on the outside means flip your final answer. So my answer is not going to be m15 over 27. It's going to be 27 over m to the 15th. That's actually the answer. So on the next one, I don't have any negative exponents inside, so I'm just actually going to start distributing this 2 to everything. So in the numerator, I have a base of 2, multiply the exponents. 2 times 1 is 2. For my m, I have 2 times 2, which is 4. In the denominator, you also distribute the 2. We have a base of 3. 2 times 1 is 2. For my m, 2 times 6 is 12. Okay, let's figure out the numerical portion. 2 squared means 2 times 2, which is 4. So we've got 4m to the 4th over 3 squared means 3 times 3, which is 9m to the 12th. 4 over 9 cannot be simplified, so those stay like they are. For the m's, the largest exponent's on the bottom, which means your m is going to be on the bottom. Then you subtract the exponents. 12 take away 4 is 8. Now that would be our final answer, except for the fact that we had a negative exponent. Negative exponent means flip your answer. So 9m to the 8 over 4 is going to be the answer. If you have a negative exponent outside of parentheses in the original problem, you must flip your final answer. The next one, let me come over here and do it. In the numerator, I just have 3y squared. In the denominator, the 2 doesn't have an exponent, so it stays where it's at. The y to the negative 3, that's a negative exponent, so since it's on the bottom, you've got to move it to the top and take the negative away. So that means we have 3 over 2, and then for my y's on the top, I've got a total of 5 of those. 2 here and 3 here is 5. Now that you've simplified the inside, you deal with the exponent. This is not a negative exponent, so we're not going to flip anything in the end. So for my 3, 1 times 3 is 3. For my y, 3 times 5 is 15. And for the 2, it has an exponent of 1. So 3 times 1 is 3. So figure this out. 3 cubed means 3 times 3 times 3, which is 27. So I have 27y to the 15th over 2 cubed means 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. 27 over 8 cannot be simplified, so this is your final answer.